People tend to show themselves like to present a false image. And them type of people are what you call narcissistic people. And narcissistic people, little do you know, you really deal with them every day. Really grow up with them. Okay, at first it starts from the family. Then you got friends, colleagues, associates, people you work with. They all over the place. Really, that's majority of the world. Not saying everyone, but you got a great majority of them. And a lot of them, they love to talk about themselves, and they like to talk about basically like you'll conversate with one, and all they got to talk about what they did, what they accomplished, and things of that sort. Ain't no wrong with a person thinking highly of themselves, but in the same sense, if that's all you got to talk about is yourself, you're a person that want people to want people to praise you, and them type, you gotta stay far away from them. Another thing they like to do is you gonna have people talk over you unintentionally, but these people tend to talk over you and then these be the type that want people that think they know everything. Like you could tell them something, things of that sort, whatever. Y'all could be discussing or something, and first thing they want to do, cut you off and try to tell you about the thing or things of that sort, whatever. Or someone just flat out tell you, "Oh, I already knew that. Oh, I've been knowing that," and stuff like that. And there ain't nothing wrong with them saying that, but it'll just be the tone on the way and the delivery, how they will present that, the way how they'll say it. Another thing they'll do is when you address them about something wrong, they always got a reason. They always justifying something that they know that was wrong. And then some of them tend to even turn it back on you. Oh, well, I didn't think it really meant, I didn't think it really bothered you like that. I ain't even think nothing of it. Exactly. But in all actuality, you knew the reason behind it. You just weren't expected to get addressed about it. That really just what they be saying when they be saying little quotes like that. And they tend to gaslight you. Cause once again, they know they fully aware of what they doing, but they ain't used to people calling them out on it. And then another thing they'll tend to do, they'll play mind games. And narcissistic people tend to have a pattern. It's an inconsistent pattern. And a lot of them, if you ever recognize, a lot of them tend to leave things undone. They'll present themselves like, okay, like they got it all together. Like they'll tell you everything straightforward. And there's certain things you have to do like that to an extent, but they be so set on trying to convince you, like, okay, that they this glamorous person and that they just so great and they do everything right and there's nothing wrong that they do. They not fully authentic. They not fully in tune with themselves. And a lot of them, they'll be copy and pasting from what they heard from other sources, and they'll go with that, you know. But basically, like sponges, and which we all to an extent got to be sponges when it comes to like information we need to soak up. But once again, they present and carry themselves. They not they not living in their truth overall, is what I'm getting at. And once again, when it comes to like an inconsistent pattern, they tend to leave things undone. They'll present themselves and start off with something for a little bit, and next thing you know, they end up leaving that thing undone. And that goes with like jobs, communication, whatever. Especially if you're dealing with like a narcissist in a romantic relationship, you always tend to notice things be all good. They love bombing you. Everything seems all good and dandy and things of that sort. Until you start hearing some of them backstories and things of that sort. They telling you like, okay, all this, that, and the third happened. Whoever they used to deal with and all, and you always notice that they pattern is always a pattern of bad experiences. And which everybody's gonna have bad experiences, and some may have more than others. But it always ends up with them never doing anything wrong. They always the victim. And that's another thing. They love playing victim. They never wrong in a situation. And that goes back to the part of just taking account. They'll never take accountability. They always gaslight and make it seem as if, like, once again, when you address them about a situation they know or something that they did, they'll flip it back on you as if you wrong or you were being too sensitive about it. But like I said, when it comes to romance, it ain't come to friendships like homies. You address them about something, oh, I didn't know it makes you feel that way and all. The whole time they done been saying disrespectful stuff, and then I don't let them mess around and get in front of a crowd of people and all. That's when a lot of them like to clown and show out. But just going back to the romantic part, yeah, they'll be consistent for a little bit, and once again, this go even with friends too. They'll be consistent. Next thing you know, they'll go ghost. They suddenly distancing themselves, and you understand because people have lives. We all have lives. We all adults. We're gonna get caught up in things. We have priorities we have to tend to. But once again, back to what I said earlier, a lot on they bad when it comes to communication. Or they like to, instead of communicating, you have to communicate with them in order to get an answer out of them and things of that sort. But that'd be nothing but a little mind game too. And stuff like that would just be unnecessary. And then they wonder why they been going through and running into these bad experiences, past experiences, because they like to tend to leave things undone. And then when you address them about it, then they get mad at you for addressing you about the situation, something that they did, not thinking about how this is going to affect and harm the other people or harm you. But it's one of them things. Is like they tend to have a pattern of that, and that's their thing. Very inconsistent, very inconsistent, very inconsistent. And then when it comes time when you distance yourself from them, and they'll notice that, like, that pull or you pulling your energy back from them. Next thing you know, here they go popping up out the blue. They bombing, blowing you up, messaging you and things of that sort. Like, hey, how you been? Such and such. I ain't heard from you in a while, and yada yada this. But that time period where y'all weren't in communication, little did you know they were watching you the whole time. But they were seeing if playing once again playing a little mind game, seeing, okay, I ain't been in contact with this person. Let me see if they're gonna reach out to me and things of that sort. Or really in most times they found somebody, they felt like, in all actuality, they feel like you replaceable. So they went to something they thought that was better and seeing that didn't turn out the way I expected. So now here they coming back. And like I said, I'm speaking for friends and romantic. Cause then you got homies, they go with the other group of people. They don't really care nothing about them and stuff. They'll put them before they put you on the back burner and put them first. And knowing damn well, they don't know, but you will be able to know these people don't care nothing for them. But yet and still, they decide to put them first because they trying to fit in, seeking that validation. And that same thing, like just going to the romantic. Whoever you dealing with, they've been dealing with somebody in the midst of while y'all been in contact and stuff of that sort, or supposedly being involved with each other. And you start noticing you hearing less and less from them. And now you got an excuse like they got all like they just so busy all of a sudden, which you get it, but in the same sense, if that was the case, why you didn't communicate that? But it's just mighty funny. These be the ones that went out their way to contact you and stuff. And now when you engage with them, give them that energy and give them that attention, now all of a sudden they ain't got time for you no more. They so busy. And really, in all actuality, that's a trick, a little manipulation game. Cause in their mind, they thinking, okay, I done got this. I'm basically got this person back in my proximity. They in my range. Now I can just do whatever. And it's a repeating cycle if you keep falling into it. But once you cut that energy off, cut them off for good, they can't stand it. Now these same type of people be going behind your back, smearing your name, talking about all this, that, and the third. You just sold this and sold that. And little prior to this was the same little pattern, the same pattern they did with people in the past. That's why they always tend to have failed relationship, failed connections. They tend to burn bridges, but let them tell it they ain't play no wrong. They ain't do no wrong in the situations. It was always the other person. But once again, let them describe it. They done nothing wrong. It was always the other person. It was the other person's fault. And even gets to a point you deal with them enough, you address them about what they done to you, they blaming you. Now, how that sound? Another grown person blaming another grown person for their actions. They blaming that the other person for the way how they treated them. That sound crazy. Something a little kid would do. And that's another thing. A lot on their mindset. A lot on really be like broken records. They mindset be stuck at a certain like age level. And you always tend to realize or recognize a lot of them, they still be acting like children, teenagers, and things of that sort. But yeah, they definitely all around workplace and things of that sort. And you become you scratch your head and get to thinking like, man, you such and such, you this old and you still be acting like this. But it's a lot of very deranged behavior that they have. Definitely got to be mindful of. I'm out.